my dad. He's my hero, my protector, my all those things. But he's also my healer in a big way.
When I was a kid, I used to say to people like, you know, when people would say, oh, my dad can beat up your dad, I'd be like,
nonprofit called the Bruce Lee Foundation, where we seek to preserve and perpetuate my father's legacy.
Shannon Lee, daughter of Bruce Lee, stands at the crossroads of family, culture, and legacy. Tasked with preserving a legend often reduced to myth and film, she navigates the weight of this heritage in a world eager to simplify it. Her journey is not a scripted Hollywood role. She's mastered martial arts, produced projects that reshape her father's story, and carved out her own identity. This is the tale of a guardian balancing past and present, truth and legend, a legacy inherited and questioned. From the moment Shannon Lee was born in 1969, her life was intertwined with the meteoric rise of her father, Bruce Lee. At that time, he was quickly transforming from a martial arts instructor to a global film icon, destined to reshape popular culture. Yet, this early promise was cut short in 1973 when Bruce Lee died suddenly, leaving Shannon only 4 years old, and thrust into a world forever changed. The loss not only marked a deep personal tragedy, but also set the stage for an ongoing struggle to manage one of the most powerful legacies in cinema and martial arts history. Growing up, Shannon's childhood was split between her mother's determination to provide some normalcy and the ever-present shadow of her father's enduring fame. Raised largely out of the limelight after moving back to Los Angeles in 1974, she experienced firsthand the challenges of navigating life under the weight of Bruce Lee's public myth. This tension between private grief and public expectation became a defining thread throughout her life. Family stories and film footage kept her father alive in memory, yet the realities of his legacy were often distorted or sensationalized in the media. Bruce Lee exists as a cultural symbol who has entered commercialism through his depiction in multiple forms of entertainment.
In the beginning, I had no intention that what I was practicing and what I'm still practicing now would lead to this.
For Shannon, this created a pressing dilemma: how to honor her father authentically while combating exploitation and superficial portrayals. The journey required her to examine his personal link because she needed to assess how people presented him to the public. Shannon began to create her personal identity through this complex area, which connects memory with meaning. Shannon and her brother, Brandon, established a special relationship that developed through their shared experiences of fame and loss. Brandon's later career as an actor followed in their father's footsteps, but ended abruptly in 1993 with his tragic on-set death. The heartbreak made Shannon understand how easily their family lost its public identity and private self. The interconnected narratives of her father's rise to fame and her brother's premature death created a heavy emotional burden she has to carry. Shannon developed a strong cultural understanding of her father's ancestral background through her childhood experiences in Los Angeles and Hong Kong. The combination of American and Chinese cultural elements created her dual cultural identity, which determined her understanding of cultural heritage and personal identity. The family experienced a time of turmoil because her father passed away, which created permanent disruptions in their family life. Her previous existence as a happy child transformed into a new reality that forced her to carry responsibilities beyond her age limits. Linda Lee Cadwell, Shannon's mother, directed her upbringing through challenging times because she wanted to protect her daughter from the overwhelming attention that came with fame. The organization aimed to develop inner strength through self-reflection while staying away from Hollywood's constant media attention. Bruce Lee's complete legacy, which includes his philosophy and movies along with his enduring status, created a permanent impact on every aspect of Shannon's life. She received a name, along with a significant duty that connected to both cultural heritage and collective societal memory. The legacy that she received through inheritance raised questions that continued to accompany Shannon throughout his life, since they pertained to his personal identity and control over his own life. The question her father created through his existence established her life path, while she needed to create her own future. The challenge of maintaining both respect and personal freedom exists because of the enormous impact that his presence has on her. Her questions about identity and personal strength become evident through her dedication to martial arts, her artistic work, and her eventual role as custodian of Bruce Lee's story. The complete scope of this duty requires more than basic protective duties, because it demands precise control over two separate processes, which involve safeguarding accurate information and dealing with misleading information. The complete dimensions of this task become apparent to those who develop an understanding of its requirements when they reach maturity and take responsibility for their father's property. She wanted to find true connections with the martial discipline that Bruce Lee represented before she reached that point. Her early life planted the seeds for a lifelong journey of both honoring and redefining a legend, an endeavor that could not remain purely retrospective. The next step in her path was a deep and deliberate engagement with martial arts, a commitment that would become a foundation for her personal and professional identity. Martial arts beyond inheritance. Shannon Lee's approach to martial arts was never about riding her father's coattails or inheriting fame. Rather, it was a serious, disciplined pursuit that reflected her desire to understand the philosophy and physical rigor her father lived by. Far from a symbolic gesture, she immersed herself in multiple styles, each adding layers to her expertise and connection to the martial world. This broadened training demonstrated a genuine respect for tradition tempered with modern versatility. Her initial focus was on Jeet Kune Do, the martial art Bruce Lee developed as a revolutionary synthesis emphasizing efficiency, adaptability, and personal expression. Studying under Richard Bustillo, one of Bruce Lee's original students, Shannon didn't just learn techniques, but accessed the authentic lineage of her father's teachings. This direct transmission distanced her practice from legend and myth. She trained in the same discipline with a trusted mentor intimately connected to Bruce's philosophy. In the time period after the 1990s, Shannon started to practice Jeet Kune Do because she regarded the martial art as personal practice, which needed her to develop both humility and persistence. She began her martial arts practice at increased intensity while pursuing her acting career. Through the training of Ted Wong, who studied under Bruce Lee, Shannon developed her martial arts abilities while learning about the fundamental concepts of the martial art, which include fluid movement and truthful body motion and personal learning. The martial arts practices of Shannon extended beyond that point. She started practicing Taekwondo while training with Dung Do Lan, who helped her build strong kicking skills and develop proper athletic training methods. The method helped her Jeet Kune Do training because it required her to maintain hand and foot control, which she used to perform precise movements. She developed her martial arts training through a multidisciplinary method, which permitted her to train in different martial arts systems. Eric Chen taught her wushu training, which added to her diverse background because it showed her traditional Chinese martial arts. Through this element, Shannon developed a connection with the spiritual and cultural foundation of Chinese martial arts, which completed her physical and philosophical practice. Shannon developed new abilities when she began training kickboxing with Benny the Jet Urides, who competed as a full-contact fighter with exceptional timing and endurance skills. Through this experience, she gained authentic combat skills and learned to withstand physical challenges while developing a deeper appreciation for martial arts, which she now views as both a competitive sport and a comprehensive discipline. The diverse styles she practiced demonstrated her fundamental belief that martial arts should adapt to each student instead of being restricted by established traditions. Shannon achieved both technical proficiency and personal development through her martial arts practice, which served as a pathway to her personal transformation. Through the program, she developed essential life skills, which included discipline, focus, and confidence, which she needed for her future public service and combat roles. This career path equipped her to handle both physical and emotional challenges, which actors face during action film performances that require them to appear authentic while demonstrating their skills. She dedicated herself to martial arts practice, which she pursued from inner motivation, which helped her develop a martial arts identity that emerged independently from her celebrity status. Each training session and lesson connected Shannon more deeply to Bruce Lee, not as a distant idol, but through lived experience. This foundational discipline would influence Shannon's further pursuits, particularly as she expanded into the performing arts and creative fields. The skills and confidence gained through martial arts training opened the door to a broader stage, where artistic growth and personal exploration awaited. Education and artistic growth. Far from the world of martial arts alone, Shannon Lee embraced a rich artistic education that helped her cultivate versatility and self-expression. She attended Tulane University in New Orleans from 1987 to 1991, choosing a setting remarkably removed from the Hollywood and martial arts spotlight that defined much of her family history. The city's vibrant cultural scene, steeped in music, theater, and artistic experimentation, provided the ideal backdrop for her personal development. At Tulane, Shannon pursued a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in vocal performance, committing herself to the rigorous study of music and stagecraft. This path required mastering voice development, breath control, and nuanced interpretation, foundations essential for conveying emotion and storytelling in performance. Her training included diverse experiences in musicals, operas, and concerts, which exposed her to collaborative artistry and elevated public presence. The performances that she participated in as extracurricular activities were essential for her educational development as an artist who became self-assured and developed various skills. Her experience with live theater and concert performances enabled her to develop better discipline and emotional understanding while she learned to communicate more effectively. The lessons that she learned during this period became valuable for her future work in film and television because those fields require teamwork and genuine emotional expression. Shannon needed to explore her identity as an independent woman, which the college provided because her father's legacy followed her everywhere. Shannon developed her personal artistic identity through creative expression while honoring her family's artistic heritage. The balance between these two aspects of her life enabled her to develop her own skills instead of being known only as Bruce Lee's daughter. Shannon returned to Tulane through virtual means to participate in live chats with alumni with whom she used to share her student experiences and her difficulties, which came from being part of a legendary family. She believed that her university experience helped her build confidence and purpose, which created a path for her to advance in her career. Her education through basic, grounded educational methods produced lifelong effects that influenced both her personal life and her work. Shannon used her academic background to approach her early acting roles with both dedication and adaptable performance skills. Her ability to perform and interpret roles developed from her knowledge of character development, stage presence, and vocal nuance. Her complete foundational knowledge enabled her to transition effortlessly between different artistic styles and professional positions. Shannon used Tulane University programs to study her personal interests because the school environment provided her with public space from which to study different subjects. The city's musical and cultural diversity expanded her perception of the world, which led to the development of artistic awareness that later assisted her in producing and writing. Her artistic training did not serve as a way to escape her family legacy because it provided another way for her to practice discipline and artistic expression while learning about Bruce Lee's methods of personal development and self-improvement. Shannon used these teachings as a foundation for her overall development, which combined physical abilities with emotional understanding. This period of education laid the groundwork for Shannon's transition into the entertainment industry, where technical skill and personal depth would prove invaluable. Her subsequent move from performer to creative leader reflected both the maturity and breadth she cultivated during these formative years. From actress to producer, Shannon Lee's entry into acting was deeply personal, tied closely to family history rather than ambition for stardom. In 1993, she made her first appearance on screen with a brief cameo in Dragon: The Bruce Lee Story, a biographical film chronicling her father's life. The timing was poignant, coinciding with the tragic death of her brother Brandon Lee, and for Shannon, the role was a quiet tribute rather than a leap into fame. This introduction to acting planted a seed, but her focus remained on understanding storytelling and connecting emotionally with the characters she portrayed. Throughout the 1990s and into the early 2000s, Shannon took on supporting roles in a variety of films. Projects like High Voltage and Enter the Eagles allowed her to combine her martial arts skills with acting, adding authenticity to her performances. Her appearance in the cult classic Blade further placed her within the action and genre film world, aligning naturally with her physical training and screen presence. These roles, while not leading parts, provided valuable on-set experience and insight into the mechanics of filmmaking. Shannon also explored different tones and genres during this period, appearing in smaller, character-driven films like She, Me, and Her. This diversification indicated her desire to expand beyond action-oriented work and experiment with emotional depth and narrative complexity. Although commercial success was limited, these experiences gave her a rounded view of the film industry and her place within it. As Shannon's understanding grew, so did her perspective on her career trajectory. By the mid-2000s, she began to reconsider whether on-screen acting was her ultimate path. The repetitive nature of minor roles and the constraints of being seen primarily as Bruce Lee's daughter led to a gradual reorientation. She found herself drawn more to creative control behind the camera, sensing a stronger desire to shape stories rather than just perform in them. Her final acting role came in 2012 with Tekken Reload, a short film blending martial arts, gaming culture, and action. This project served as a quiet bookend to her acting journey, allowing her to step away from performing on her own terms. The decision marked a turning point where producing and shaping content holistically became her focus. In 2008, Shannon made her first major move into producing with the ambitious Chinese television series Li Xiaolongchuani, internationally known as The Legend of Bruce Lee. Spanning 50 episodes, the series dramatized Bruce Lee's life from his early years in Hong Kong to his rise in America. It required a delicate balance of historical accuracy, storytelling, and cultural respect, a challenge Shannon embraced with personal dedication. This project was more than a career milestone. It was an act of stewardship. Shannon took care to present her father's story with integrity, moving beyond surface-level myth-making toward deeper explorations of his philosophy and discipline. The series broadened her horizons as a producer, teaching her to navigate international audiences and complex cultural narratives. Building on this foundation, Shannon expanded her producing work with 2 television movies released in 2009 and 2012, both centered on Bruce Lee's legacy. These ventures further cemented her role as a guardian of her father's image and philosophy. Through each production, she refined her storytelling skills and gained confidence in her ability to maintain authenticity while appealing to new generations. Her growing presence behind the scenes reflected a conscious choice to influence her father's legacy on her own terms. By moving into producing, Shannon found a way to fuse personal history with professional purpose, blending creativity with responsibility. The work Shannon invested in these early producing ventures set the stage for a landmark moment that would redefine her father's creative legacy. Reviving Bruce Lee's vision. In 2016, Shannon Lee announced her executive producer role on Warrior.
We're going to talk a little money right now, not with B&M Muhlenberg's Paul Bagnall, but with financial guru Shannon Lee Simmons out with her latest book on managing money.
A martial arts crime drama developed for Cinemax that resurrected an original concept created by Bruce Lee decades earlier. The show's genesis dates back 50 years, but it wasn't until the discovery of Bruce's actual written pages that the project gained real momentum. This revelation brought to light a long-lost vision her father had never lived to realize, representing a powerful connection between past and present. Warrior is set in 1870s San Francisco during the turbulent Tong Wars, blending historical drama, martial arts action, and social commentary. The series vividly explores Chinatown's power struggles, cultural identity, and resilience, themes deeply resonant with Bruce Lee's own values and philosophy. Under Shannon's guidance, the show honors her father's original ideas while expanding them into a complex, modern narrative that appeals to diverse audiences. The pathway from the first concept to the completed screen production required significant time because the process consisted of multiple intricate stages. Shannon described the procedure as a continuous task that required her to discover her father's artistic creations through talks with film studios, artistic teams, and cultural specialists. Her project work enabled the team to create new storytelling methods while staying true to Bruce Lee's initial artistic vision for the series. The show Warrior, which started in 2019, established a fan following who loved its energetic fight sequences and its thorough study of self-identity and judicial issues. The show achieved enough popularity to transition from Cinemax to Max, which premiered its third season in June 2023 as the most successful posthumous adaptation of Bruce Lee's work. Shannon established herself as a creative artist through her work on Warrior, because she works to protect her father's legacy instead of serving as his memory keeper. She used her artistic talent to connect two age groups by completing unfinished projects through her artistic talent. The series became a testament to both Bruce Lee's enduring influence and Shannon's dedication to preserving his voice in a meaningful way. The project reached its final stage when Shannon used her martial arts knowledge, her storytelling skills, and her family heritage to create her final work. The film Warrior presented Bruce Lee's core philosophy through its depiction of discipline, adaptability, and cultural expression. Shannon used her leadership skills to transform the project from its initial concept into a dynamic cultural institution that continues to develop through time. As executive producer, she maintained constant communication with directors, writers, and actors to help them achieve their desired balance between action scenes and historical accuracy. Shannon worked behind the scenes to show her advanced understanding of the entertainment industry and her father's principles. Her creative evolution from actress to producer illustrates a powerful reclaiming of narrative power, setting the stage for her ongoing role as the last guardian of a legend. Personal trials and advocacy. Shannon Lee's life has been marked not only by her father's legacy, but also by profound personal loss. The tragic death of her older brother, Brandon, in 1993 cast a long shadow over the family. Brandon was fatally wounded on the set of The Crow due to an accident involving a prop gun. This devastating event exposed fatal lapses in film set safety protocols and left Shannon confronting grief compounded by preventable tragedy. Brandon's death remained a painful reminder for actors and crew members about the deadly risks they face from unsafe work practices throughout the last 50 years. Shannon developed a powerful determination to fight for better industry standards because of this experience. Her activism began quietly, but gained new urgency as similar incidents recurred in Hollywood, drawing international attention to the need for stricter safety measures. The issue resurfaced most notably in 2021, when cinematographer Helena Hutchins was slain on the set of Rust after a prop gun discharged a live bullet. The incident renewed existing discussions about how weapons should be handled on film sets and what safety measures should be established. Shannon spoke out publicly, emphasizing that after nearly 30 years since Brandon's death, the industry has failed to implement complete safety regulations, which she described as frustrating and unacceptable. She has repeatedly called for mandatory gun safety training and stronger regulations on movie sets. Shannon shows that current filmmaking technology allows directors to produce authentic gunfire sounds through visual effects, replicas, and sound design methods without putting anyone at risk. She believes that human life needs protection because it must take higher priority than both practical needs and established customs. Shannon became more active in her advocacy work after the 2023 charges against actor Alec Baldwin for involuntary manslaughter related to the Rust shooting incident. She publicly supported a total prohibition of firearms on film sets because she believed this measure would help prevent future disasters. Through her personal life experiences, she has become a powerful advocate for industry-wide reform, which she has dedicated her life to achieving. Shannon uses her painful losses to enhance her understanding of life and resilience through her philosophical work. The heartbreak has reinforced her appreciation for the lessons her father taught about adaptability, presence, and continuous growth. Her advocacy work and her mission to preserve Bruce Lee's legacy through meaningful activities are both governed by these principles.
My dad, he's my hero, my protector, my all those things. But he's also my healer in a big way.
Her work in advocacy reflects a courage and compassion born from tragedy, one that complements her ongoing efforts to steward Bruce Lee's enduring influence. Shannon's public leadership on safety is matched by her quieter, lifelong dedication to preserving the essence of her father's legacy on multiple fronts. Stewardship of the Bruce Lee Foundation. Central to Shannon Lee's role as the custodian of her father's legacy is her leadership of the Bruce Lee Family Company, a position that reflects years of preparation and deep personal commitment. Though the company was officially founded in 2011, Shannon had been actively managing Bruce Lee's intellectual property since around 2000. Her goal has been to ensure that Bruce Lee's name, image, and philosophy are preserved with integrity and not exploited. The company was passed down to Shannon by her mother, Linda Lee Cadwell, who remains closely involved as a trusted advisor. Shannon often refers to her mother as their #1 consultant and describes their collaboration as multi-generational teamwork. This partnership blends lived experience with thoughtful modern business strategy, helping maintain the authenticity of Bruce Lee's voice while adapting to contemporary audiences. As CEO, Shannon oversees an array of projects spanning film and television development, publishing, licensing, digital media, and educational initiatives. Her leadership philosophy rejects nostalgia in favor of relevance. Rather than letting Bruce Lee remain frozen as a 1970s martial arts icon, she presents him as a philosopher, innovator, and cultural thinker whose ideas about discipline, adaptability, and self-expression are deeply applicable today. Shannon has explained her motivation simply but powerfully. She dedicates herself to keeping her father's energy alive because his words and way of life have profoundly shaped her. Her stewardship extends beyond commerce. It carries a spiritual and educational commitment. Shannon, president of the Bruce Lee Foundation, also fulfills her corporate responsibilities. The non-profit organization empowers people and communities through educational programs, leadership training, and Bruce Lee-inspired philosophical exploration. The foundation operates initiatives like Camp Bruce Lee, a summer program for children focusing on confidence, mindfulness, physical activity, and emotional resilience. The organization develops practical life resources based on its core values. Shannon wants to create a foundation that will help people with disabilities and enable organizations to expand their operations. She wants to create Bruce Lee's philosophy into a vital resource that upcoming generations must use to navigate present-day difficulties. The foundation operates its programs across different continents to serve various communities that want to learn martial arts and develop themselves through Lee's teachings. Her stewardship requires her to find harmony between preserving cultural heritage and introducing innovative ideas, while she safeguards an important historical legacy that needs to adapt to modern cultural developments. Shannon sees this mission as her permanent responsibility, which requires her to maintain ongoing dedication and stewardship. The lasting impact of Shannon's efforts will be measured not just in films or business, but in the lives she touches through education, philosophy, and cultural empowerment. The responsibility she carries as the last guardian is as much about fostering growth as it is about honoring memory, family continuity, and future generations. Shannon Lee continues to honor her family after her family legacy through her private life, which combines personal traditions with her public duties. In 1994, she married Ian Kiesler, choosing a life partner outside the entertainment spotlight. The couple has kept their marriage private because Shannon prefers to protect her family from the continuous spotlight that comes with being famous. She seeks a normal life, which she wants to create through her stable home that exists outside the social pressures that her family name brings. Shannon and Ian became parents when they welcomed their daughter, Ren Lee Kiesler, in 2003. From the start, Shannon was intentional about raising Ren with a strong sense of identity that reaches beyond celebrity or public expectation. She has explained that 3 main elements, which include normal life, educational learning, and emotional bonding, serve as fundamental building blocks for her development because of her own experience growing up without her father. The philosophy directs Ren to acquire fundamental values that should take precedence over achieving fame or maintaining family traditions. The growth of Ren has led to the development of core family traditions, which he has discovered through his life. Shannon's social media shows that Ren currently studies at Tulane University, which she attended over 30 years ago. This shared academic path carries symbolic weight that connects 3 generations through their dedication to education, their quest for independence, and their exploration of creative interests. The past receives honor through Shannon's ongoing work, which enables her daughter to create her personal future. Shannon and Ren appeared on Bruce Lee's official YouTube channel in 2020 to present a heartfelt tribute on what would have been his 80th birthday. The moment offered a rare public glimpse into a family's intergenerational bond. Bruce Lee continues to influence the family through his role as a legendary figure who acts as a grandfather who enables his family to follow his values through his teachings and their remembrance of him. The tribute focused on remembering people through their contributions and showing appreciation for them, while maintaining core values that have existed throughout history. Shannon shares limited details about Ren through social media, but she posts about her daughter on those platforms from time to time. The moments display the family's strong connection, which shows their ability to stay strong during difficult times, but the public will not see their personal time together. A notable example is a Mother's Day post in 2023, which shows Shannon Ren and Linda Lee Cadwell, who are 3 Lee women connected through love and their family legacy. This emphasis on privacy and grounded identity reveals Shannon's determination to nurture a stable family life amidst the complexities of public heritage. She balances honoring Bruce Lee's legacy with protecting the emotional well-being of her daughter and mother. This delicate balance reflects the weight of responsibility Shannon carries as a guardian, not only of a legend, but of her family's future. Shannon Lee's journey shows us that legacy is both a gift and a challenge, requiring courage, care, and conviction to carry forward. From personal loss to creative triumphs, she remains steadfast as the guardian of a legend while forging her own path. If you found this story inspiring, please like and subscribe for more insightful profiles. Your support helps keep these important stories alive.